Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Don't Gaslight Me, Jesus, a Dungeon Crawler Carl reading and rereading podcast and member of the Sanderlanche Podcast Network. Today, we are going to be discussing chapters 42, 43, and 44 of the eponymous first book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, Dungeon Crawler Carl. One of these days, I'm just gonna completely lose the ability to say those that title. In these chapters, Carl and Donut go on a new show, and then there's some wrap up after the show, but the show is the main thing, I guess. So we get to see them go on, what's the show called? Death Watch Extreme Dungeon Mayhem.
Extreme!
It's so extreme. But I'm Data, and with me today is
Tim.
Oh, Jennifer.
Yep, two people today. Mike couldn't make it, but we press ahead. He may record. We talked about him maybe recording some thoughts and sending them in. If so, I'll edit that in somewhere. But if not, I probably will cut this part out. So there you go.
Hell yeah. Shorter episode.
But let's get into this. Welcome back, crawlers, to the second floor. Funny, at the convention, I went to the panel for Dungeon Crawler Carl, and the panelist was this, or the host of the panel rather, was this lady from Australia who I guess does some sort of entertainment news type stuff. But she had a bunch of questions from the audience and some of her own questions, and she was like, one of the questions was like, what do you say to people who tell you that it's like it was a bad name for a series because it's just hard to say Dungeon Crawler Carl? And he was like, yeah, I've heard that a lot, but it's also sold like 4 million copies now, so, you know.
I understand that it's a mouthful, but also, fuck you.
He's like, whatever I did, it's working, so, you know. The panel was her as the host, and then him and the guy who does the audiobook narrations, and he live read a new chapter from the upcoming book, so that was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Was it really?
It was.
Jennifer coming out swinging.
Yeah.
Was it really fun?
Yeah. I seem to remember I was stuck in a hotel room during this, so.
She wasn't allowed to attend the panel. She could have gone to other panels, but chose not to.
There was another panel at that time that was interesting. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember what all was right then, but it was like the last one of the day, so yeah, there wasn't much else, I think. All right, well, we did 3 chapters this time, leading right up. We're 1 episode away from the end of the book. So what did you guys think of these 3 chapters?
Hello! It's Mike. Not Mark. Definitely Mike. Totally not Mark. Although, that is a YouTuber. I couldn't make it this week. I was out of town. But I have read the chapters, and I wanted to put a little bit at the end, or at the beginning. I don't know where they're putting this. I don't edit this shit. We went into what we thought was going to be, actually what I thought was going to be a Joe Rogan Experience thing. It looks like Tim was actually closer to the mark, where it was Ow My Balls, a YouTube recap show with a Carson Daly. No, not Carson Daly. What would he be? What do the kids watch right now? Literally a Mr. Beast? I don't know what Mr. Beast is like. I don't watch any of that shit. But it was a guy who is just kind of like a jerk-ass alpha male, red pill type asshole who runs a recap show where they show all of the gory bullshit that like 12 to 16-year-olds love, and all of his humor is very early 2000s. And Carl, being a millennial, knew exactly what kind of tone to strike. And he matched energy and he matched aggression with aggression. Also all the one-upsmanship. and he got the upper hand. It was actually really nice to see Carl not only coming into his own, and I wouldn't say it's his comfort zone, but he knew how to play this guy, because I had a feeling, even though they didn't really say it, this guy might be closer to the personality type that his dad had. So it was a tete-a-tete of short of Carl is like, I've had to deal with a over-the-top alcoholic bully who manipulates emotions and shit. So Carl knew exactly how to deal with a fucking evil narcissist literal pig man. And goddamn, I just loved every minute of that. I loved Donut's retorts. I loved Carl actually showing even more leadership qualities by taking over the situation, but then giving information and details to the other crawlers to help them survive and escape. That was masterfully done. Carl is really taking to the dungeon crawling, and it's really nice to see him come into his. There came a point where I actually saw Carl as kind of aspirational in some ways. The qualities that he's starting to show, I actually really enjoy, and it was also really messed up and nice to see Frank again, and that whole situation. The moment we saw a child maimed and having to be choked out mercifully, a mercy choking. I've never heard of a mercy choking, but no, it was a very sad scene. And the moment I saw that, I was like, oh no, the pathos here is going to be bad, because Carl is going to be responsible for this. And I love that they didn't make him fully responsible for it, because I don't know if the dynamite would have counted as his kill if the kid had died from his, by his trap. But them killing their daughter was basically a way of the author saving Carl from having the skull. Of course, it wasn't clear if the kid was going to die from the injuries. Carl insisted that she would have survived. I think she only got maimed. She wasn't killed or anything, but her parents are psychopaths anyway. So, and also we know a little bit about Carl's childhood. I don't know if there was physical abuse or anything like that. So I wonder if that was another kind of thing where Carl really did not like seeing a kid being hurt by their parents. Of course, no one would, but he seems to have a lot of trauma in that department. So that's a thing that is probably going to be more of a sticking point later. And so I'm interested to explore more of Carl's past, because it was very pathos for the sake of pathos before, but they really kind of are laying in that Carl really didn't have a good upbringing and a good life. And now his best friend is a cat. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm in the end, it was his ex-girlfriend's cat that ended up being his closest ally and friend, which is, there's something really sweet to that, because I feel like that's a really relatable thing for some people. But as far as most of these 3 chapters was just the show and the twists and reveal that you have on a Jerry Springer Maury type show, where it's and you didn't know that we had a secret guest that was actually very important to your backstory. So that shit was all fun. I had a blast with that. I also liked some of the stuff at the end where we had our Zev, she's kind of the handler for Carl and Donut. I like the bits with her at the end. She feels like a fun character that's going to pop in and out every so often. She's kind of their producer / she's a bit of a stand-in substitute Mordecai, which I kind of like, because I miss Morty. I miss Morty so much. I loved his kind of sardonic sort of, was well, yeah, that's life down here in the dungeon. Like, kind of way where she was just like, you guys are doing really good. The Meadowlark storyline, that went well, and you guys got to keep up the good work. So that shit's fun. Oh, I didn't even mention the fucking sex tape. That shit is so funny. If I was here for the episode, I would imagine that when we got to that point, I would have had a name for the episode, and the name for this episode, the unofficial name, because Data famously does not name the episodes because he can't, but I have to keep teasing him because it's funny. Old hotness, razzle dazzle. New hotness, give him the old piggly wiggly. So that's the look. I've been away for a little bit. Okay, these are not going to be A-tier jokes. So you leave me alone. Ugh. Bought a whole thing of Arizona tea. I'm just chugging that shit right now. Any other 90s kids out there? It's still 90 cents or 99 cents. We're doing it, guys. Hold the line. I don't know what that fucking means. I'm just rambling at this point. I think this is the part where I'm supposed to do predictions. So, predictions. Frank dies. Let's see. Frank, I don't know if we're going to get any kind of climactic anything for these last couple of chapters with Frank. I would imagine he's going to be an arc villain. It would be very anticlimactic to reintroduce him here and then deal with him directly after in the ending chapters, I think. So I don't think we're going to deal with Frank. Like, we're not going to resolve that. We may have him appear again. Maybe he does something to screw over Carl and Donut, or the wife does. I don't know. I was a little confused on that. Like, were they husband and wife? Was that their kid? Was it a kid they found? I don't know. It happened all so fucking quick to me. I was more just horrified that they killed the fucking kid, but, you should be, But when it comes to what's going to happen next time, if they don't deal with Frank, it would be funny if we had one last little bit, because we can't really go into the next floor yet, can we? Of course, this is the floor where we're supposed to be picking classes and races and that kind of shit. Like, we're picking what our builds are going to be for the rest of the dungeon, I would suppose. So we're going to be doing a character creation screen thing for the ending, and that's probably going to be a chapter or two. And for the ending, the fact that Zev brought up the Meadowlark as a storyline and how they have to start thinking about other storylines, I would imagine it would be funny if we went really meta at the end, and a way of foreshadowing stuff that would happen in later books. What if Carl got sponsored by some company or some like Hollywood exec type, and the next room after the character creation screen room was literally a writer's room where you had all these different characters, and they're all different races and different personalities, all screaming shit at Carl and Donut, and they're just reacting to it as like, what if this happened? What if you fought a giant spider in the third act? And it's like, the spider intrigues me, like stuff like that, where like writer's room shit, where they were like, it's like, what if you and Donut? What if we start like hinting will they, won't they? Which I've been making jokes from the beginning that I was like, I swear to God, if he fucks the cat, I'm putting this book down, because there was the question. I was like, is she going to turn human? Is this going to be a thing where he romances the cat? And that would be a storyline for some people to enjoy. I mean, anthropomorphic cat ladies. That's nothing I know anything about. I don't know. A writer's room would be a funny way to end it, because it would be a nice meta moment to end the book on, because I think we just had our climax, and it was an emotional one, which is Frank and company are still out there and they're gunning for Carl. So that kind of was our climax, because we had our big fight. We had our big fight with the Rage Elemental. So that was the physical threat, and now we had an emotional and visceral, like almost a what do you call it? Ideological kind of problem, where Carl stuck a thumb in the eye of authority. He didn't play into their game. He kind of took over the show from the dipshit host, and he held his own, against Frank and company for, like their crimes against fucking humanity. So I would imagine that was the climax. We had a like I've mentioned before with like Gladiator, I think. No, I probably mentioned that off show, but like with Gladiator, you had like big bombastic fights, but the final climax was a personal affair. It was an endeavor, and this is about right versus wrong kind of thing, is what the last fight boils down to. So that's the climax, and so all the rest of the chapters are probably going to be jokes, and foreshadowing for shit that can happen later. Like they'll be like, it's like, what if you guys get trapped in a giant egg, and then you gotta like solve puzzles to get out of it, and they'll be like, are those things like that in the dungeons? And they're like, well, they've been in previous seasons, but we thought about bringing back the old favorites, like that. You could really play with the lore and have some fun with what if scenarios. Like you could tease things in later books that it's like, oh, this could happen. And then when that thing happens, it's actually like a twist on it. Like it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be. So that would be fun. This season has been so much fun to do so far. And I've enjoyed the hell out of this book. So thank you all for listening and watching. And I'm sure Data has some sort of sign off after this. And, he was spared my shenanigans this week, but next week he's going to have to deal with all the shenanigans if we're going to be ending this season any kind of proper for how this show has gone so far. We're probably going to be trying to make that man lose his goddamn mind by the end of this shit. So love you, Data. Love you guys. And all of you listening at home, appreciate you. And I will be here next week, and it's going to be a great fucking end to the season. Let's cap this shit off. Give him the old Piggly Wiggly.
I mean, obviously, this show was not my cup of tea. I'm with Carl on the feelings behind this show. Very, very bully-oriented and likes orcs anyway. I mean, come on. It was entertaining, at least. I knew we were going to see a couple come back, Frank and forgot what the girl's name is.
Maggie.
Forgot what's her name?
Maggie Mai.
Yeah. I kept thinking of Yvette, and I was like, Yvette's the daughter. Which, that's a whole other thing. That's just depressing.
Right?
We knew they were going to come back. I wasn't exactly expecting them to be who picked up. I was like, I knew it was going to be one of like several different options. But that part was kind of interesting to see how the whole kind of bombing played out. Did not obviously expect that particular scenario, but it's definitely interesting to see kind of how that show played out. I found it interesting the way Carl played it, which I kind of feel like the first part of this book was very much trying to make us think Carl was kind of stupid. The further and further we get into this book, the less you can say that Carl is stupid. Because I feel like it's constantly arguing the other now. Like, how he like pretty much went right into that, knew exactly what was going on. He didn't need to even like hear anybody really talking. Know that this show was just bully oriented with a bunch of, young adult male and teenage men who just essentially wanted violence. But he didn't even really have to think through that. Kind of shows that he's much smarter than I think the beginning of this book was trying to make us think. So, I don't know, that was kind of interesting. But overall, I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, that show is definitely not my cup of tea, but it wasn't really supposed to be. But I think what we saw that Zev played out exactly the way we thought that was going to play out. That part, I think, was what we expected. But overall, I enjoyed these chapters. Thought they were pretty fun.
So do we think that Carl getting smarter is an evolution of the character or directly related to like his stats, his intelligence stat is going up, so he's getting smarter, or just the writer decided he didn't want him to be dumb and then changed midstream?
See, in my point of view, I don't feel like he's got enough. He hasn't had enough improvement in intelligence at this point to get that much smarter. I mean, he's gotten a little bit, but I mean, it's not like he went 15 levels up in intelligence to go from like stupid at the beginning to, or he wasn't. I don't know that he was. Really, they were kind of making you feel like he might be to the level of intelligence that he shows here. To me, that kind of feels like the author just went in a completely different direction mid book, because I don't feel like he had an opportunity with his stats to improve, but maybe he did.
Okay.
And maybe those stats do a lot more than I think they do.
I also want to say I agree that it was interesting to see how the whole explosive in the rat thing paid off, because I think before now it had just played off like he came up with this plan and then it didn't really lead to anything. So, but I don't know, did you guys assume that was coming back at some point, or did you also think like, oh, I guess it didn't result in anything?
I knew it was going to come back in some way because obviously we were going to see them again, and that was going to have to play out some way. Now, did I think it was going to come out that there was a whole third other person? I mean, it was a kid, and somehow he really injured the kid. I mean, that I didn't see coming like at all.
Yeah, I didn't see maiming a small child.
That wasn't on the bingo card. Yeah. Okay.
No, I did think it would come back. I don't know if we ever made a prediction about it coming back, but I thought it would come back. I hoped it would come back. I mean, I'm the biggest stan over here going more Frank. So yeah, I was hoping it comes back. Just yeah, I didn't see a fucking kid getting maimed.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Not something we would generally guess.
Nah, that's a fun one, right? Where we're just like, those two people who had no lines of dialogue with each other, they're married and they have a teenage child.
It was hiding in the bathroom, and we just had no idea that it was there.
Who would make that call?
And honestly, I feel like there was a lack of build-up to that at all. Like that there was this other person, and all of a sudden she's just there. I don't. I feel like there has to be more to that we'll have to figure out at some point in time, because it just seemed very abrupt that this other person existed.
Well, when a murderer and another murderer fall in love.
You have a child who they then also murder.
Yeah. It's a family
It does seem to
affair.
go with the theme, yeah. What do you think, Tim?
My thinking is, and I've sounded a little bit like a broken record here, but I really enjoyed these chapters, and I think they were my favorite chapters of the book. I know I've said similar shit before, usually for action stuff, and this had no action in like people throwing punches or shooting each other or whatever.
Yeah.
But the action was all around, fighting alien Joe Rogan. So I had all of that. I enjoyed seeing more of that that kind of craftiness that Carl sometimes has. Going back to Jennifer, I don't know if it's a evolution of like his stats, and this is like derived from a stat increase, as much as I think it's probably supposed to always be there with Carl, because he's kind of a pulp action hero kind of character. And the old pulpy action guys, like they were two-fisted punchers and drinkers and womanizers, but also like super scientists. So it was like if Robert Oppenheimer and Batman were like one person, and that person is now Doc Samson, like that's kind of how like old pulp guys are, and that's the feel I get off of, if I don't know if I'm the only one here that's ever read any of the Conan fucking stories, like the little short stories that Howard wrote.
I don't think
Conan the Barbarian is the same way. Like while in pulp, not in pulp, but in like actual like popular culture, Conan the Barbarian is like and that's not who he is. He's actually very intelligent, like scarily intelligent, and he's also not Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's described constantly as being lithe like a tiger. So yeah, like yeah. Conan the Barbarian is very similar, where he's cunning, he's resourceful, he'll wreck a motherfucker with his hands or with a sword because that's just what he does. But if he doesn't have those things that he's on the back foot, he will always outthink an opponent. So I think that's part of the DNA of Carl. Was it set up? I don't know. The situation here is that we find Carl at literally the beginning. He's just a schlubby kind of guy who's what was he? He was Coast Guard.
Yeah,
Like,
he was Coast Guard, and then he was an electrical engineer on a boat or something, I believe.
yeah, like he's at the very beginning of all of this. A lot of these pulp characters, we never meet them at the beginning. You didn't meet Tarzan as a child. You didn't meet Conan as like, I'm learning how to shoot a bow and arrow. You always met these characters. They've been established for 15 years, and like they are already masters of who they are. They know exactly what they are. They're the characters in pulps tend to be more or less static, like Sherlock Holmes. And it's about this static, fully realized character going through adventures. So we're getting the beginnings of that with Carl. I think that's just part of the DNA for like why he was created by Dimsdale. so other than that, I dug the whole. This is very short, like what was it, 3 chapters? That was insane. I loved every second of it. I did actually read the chapter before as a lead-in because I opened up the book and I was like, oh yeah, we're at Joe Rogan. Nah, and I read back another chapter because it's like that feels weird. It's like finding yourself waking up in a pool, and I was like, no, I want to jump in the pool first to get into this.
Fair.
And
Yeah.
that was actually a good way to read that too. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. Carl was fun.
What was the previous chapter was just like it was after they beat the giant monster and they're just like finding out about the show and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just like a calm before the next issue.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it actually read fairly seamless together. Again, I must reiterate, we are reading this in the worst possible way to read this story because the larger
Yeah.
chunk you read of this book, the more enjoyable it is. When you're reading it, in like tenths, it's always like, well, not a lot happened this fucking month.
Yeah, fair. It's interesting what you said about Conan because, like I said, I hadn't read those, so I wasn't familiar, and I kind of assumed that like the Arnold Schwarzenegger depiction has leaned all of modern day thinking about Conan in a certain direction.
It is the most important part of Conan culturally because that movie came out and it changed literally everything about the character moving forward. Who was that? It was John Millinus that did the movie. He did like Dirty Harry and Dillinger and like Jeremiah Johnson. Like it's a good movie. I really dig the movie, but it kind of did its own thing. And it also is built around the idea that this is Arnold very young in his career, and the man
Yeah.
could not act at all. So they actually ripped out almost every line of dialogue he has. So he only speaks like 10 times or something in the movie, which is so not Conan the Barbarian. But, they made a movie and it was very fun, and came out in a time period where there was a renaissance of like the 80s for the fantasy genre, sword and sorcery. And it's a big touchstone to a lot of people.
John Milius. I had to go and look him up. So yeah, Dillinger, Apocalypse Now, Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, interesting. Clear and Present Danger, the Harrison Ford movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think he did the original Red Dawn.
Yes. Yeah.
He's very, very right wing. And I mean, you could probably guess that from like Red Dawn and even Conan the Barbarian. But yeah, it's just a fun man movie of just a guy who looks like a mountain and can't act worth a fuck. But he became a fucking huge star because he just looked so cool. And
Oh
also,
yeah, can't deny that.
he sounds completely weird. There's no other like Austrian in the world that sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like he has like a speech impediment or something. I don't know. But yeah. I read a fuck ton of the old Robert Howard Conan the Barbarian books back when I was younger because I enjoyed the movie and then I started reading the books. I was like, I much prefer the stories.
Hmm.
But you know, like a lot of things, from like the 20s and 30s, there's shit that did not age fucking well. There is a casual racism that's just present, just like most things back then. It's like if you read Lovecraft. Lovecraft is hugely influential and deeply problematic as a human being, and that racism just creeps in constantly.
Yeah, I just reread the collected works, the collected Sherlock Holmes not long ago, and it sticks out to modern sensibilities that there's the casual racism and sexism. It's just
Yeah,
like, oh man, yeah.
yeah. There is a sexism to Conan too because it's a pulp fucking thing. All pulp thing was kind of sexist. But I think out of all the pulp shit from the 20s and 30s I've read, Howard is the better side
Hmm.
towards sexism. At least his women are occasionally capable of doing something. And that's a small bar to clear. But back then, that was like an insurmountable fucking hill to climb for these kinds of stories. It's similar to I hate to say it, it's similar to this book. Like, we haven't met a woman that can do anything
I guess we
ever.
haven't met. We met Odette, who is a very popular talk show host, apparently the most popular in the galaxy or whatever. But we really
And
haven't met many women. Period.
no, and with Odette, well, I enjoyed the Odette chapter, and I still hold that her and Mordecai had a thing. Like, you can't say Odette is like an example of good female character because a good portion of all of her description is just about her tits. Like,
Yep, it's true.
it's very 13-year-old.
And then I guess we have Maggie Mai here, who we haven't seen her actually accomplish much.
No,
Uh,
she's just like crazy, which is a whole other
yeah.
sexist thing that these kinds of stories usually go, where she's just batshit insane, kill her own child, and then be like, "Yeah!" like
Yeah.
she's like vomiting and spitting up like obscenities, like she's in a fucking Exorcist.
Yeah, it didn't seem far off of that. I'll give
Yeah,
that to you.
there's no depth or character to Maggie Mai. She's just insane. In fact, if I have a complaint, and I don't know how this is going to play out, like I have no idea how any of this is going to play out.
Mhm.
I wanted more Frank because I wanted a villain so that Carl had someone to punch. Um,
Yeah.
it seems like they completely neutered Frank as the villain, as he now seems completely hollow and broken and like he's probably done, and instead they're just pivoting towards crazy vindictive bitch, and I'm
Hmm.
like, that's not as interesting as like what I was hoping with this cop ice lying murdering guy. I was like, there's a fun thing there, both of you were authority figures at one point. Like, I don't know, there was like a decent parallel, and it feels like we're just putting him on the back burner, being like, he's broken now, he's done. But the real bad guy is this woman who has no fucking characterization. She's just insane.
Yeah, we definitely don't have much to go on about her so far, other than
No.
being real pissed
Yeah.
and murdering people.
I'll say one last thing. I do love setting up Joe Rogan to be a fight in like book 3 or something. I'm looking for our bad guys, finding out that the orc is going to be on floor 9, I believe.
That's what he
I'm
said.
like,
Yep.
fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna have Carl. We're gonna fight fucking Joe Rogan in like a blood war that's going on while they're doing a fight. I'm like, let's do it. That's what I'm looking for. Give me a bad guy I can hate, and I hate that guy. And give me a guy that I want to see Carl literally crush the life out of. And yeah, I'm like, all right, Frank is kind of a no-show, but I like the orc.
Yeah, you were talking about setting up like her as the new bad guy, and I'm like, I feel like that was definitely a setup. They're like, here's a way for you to track Carl down and try to kill him. Like, you
Mhm.
couldn't be much
Yeah.
more transparent with that setup. But then we also have Orc Guy, who clearly it seems to be setting up something.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. Crazy girl who can track him with magic. I'm like, can we end that quick? Let's get that over with. Like this next chapter. I don't want that hanging over the proceedings.
Right? Yeah. Now, like, who knows how long it'll be before we get back to that? That could be hanging over us for a while, or maybe it'll be next chapter, like you said.
Please, please, next chapter. I don't want this to go into book 2.
It's like it's gonna be like book 12, and we're still like, where's Maggie
No.
Mai? She's coming
She's out there, fucking
somewhere.
holding something to her chest, going, "Yeah, kill them all, and your little cat too."
She basically did, yeah, and your little cat too. It was I love Donuts. Like, don't fucking bring me into this.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with this.
This is between y'all humans.
This is human fights.
I guess let's get into these chapters.
Hell yeah.
We started like we left them in the trailer with a robot being like, "Hey, you're about to go on this Death Watch Extreme Dungeon Mayhem," and implying that it's. Carl says that's the stupidest name I've ever heard, and the robot's like, "Yeah, just wait till you see the show." So, no, I get it now. And apparently, the trailer we're in this time is cheaper than the previous one. It's very small, no snacks, and I guess it's floating around on the ocean on the top in like less calm seas because Donut is like, I'm gonna be sick. Cats don't do boats. I don't know.
I suppose I've never had a cat on a boat.
Yeah, neither have I.
I feel like a cat wouldn't like a boat, but I have no scientific, proof of that.
I know
I-
cows hate crossing bridges.
It's true.
Very true. That
I
is a
don't
thing
like
they do not like. I live in Texas. I know that one.
We had cows too. I'm aware of this.
I
That
feel
is
like-
all I know.
I feel like I've read that they used to have cats on like sea vessels for long voyages to hunt down the rats.
Beds, because they have rats and stuff, yeah. But maybe those cats are always on the ship, so they don't know the difference.
They
That
just
is
don't care.
brown. Like, there's constant food here. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Of course, I
according
don't
to
know what you do with
Wikipedia,
the cat food.
It's true.
cats and boats have a long history together.
Interesting.
There's a one series I read called the Gentleman Bastard sequence, where in the second book they do a lot of stuff on boats, and the god of the sea in this world loves cats and women, so you never take a boat out if you don't have at least a cat and a woman on board. And so it was just which is kind of in contrast, at least as far as women go, because I guess they were not often or as often sailors on old seagoing vessels.
According to Pirates of the Caribbean, yes.
And obviously that's the best
Authority.
yeah, it's the best it's the best what do you call it? What do you call not biography, a movie that they make that's like real stuff and explaining it to you. This word has just completely left me.
Is it a documentary?
Yes, thank you. Pirates of the Caribbean, best documentary ever made on
Of course.
pirates and the Caribbean.
Yeah. And women weren't allowed on boats, at least in that.
Until you became the pirate queen or
Yeah.
whatever.
No idea how women were able to go across the ocean without being on a boat, but we don't ask these questions.
No. Yeah.
They just pop out of the ground.
But okay, so they go onto this. They get taken onto the stage, which is really just a small table with 6 chairs around it. But the 6 chairs implies that we're gonna have several more guests here. And then there's an animated extreme explodes over the top of the image that they're seeing.
Very 2003.
Oh, it's
Right?
Like, I don't think extreme. I also equate it with the 90s, but I'm like, I think that was more of a around 9/11 thing
You think?
than 90s.
Well,
Yeah,
it makes me think of high school. So yeah, I was in high school in the early 2000s. So
Good times. High school.
was it? Was it really?
No, not at all. We get several minutes of the crowd getting hyped up, it sounds like. He's like, I assume the host is talking to them, but we can't see the host yet. At some point, he realizes they're chanting "die, die, die," which does not seem great as a premonition for what's going to come. And then they start yelling "glurp, glurp, glurp," which doesn't make any sense initially. Although I will say, at the panel at Dragonsteel Nexus this past week, there was definitely some glurping in the audience.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the point was being missed.
Right? Yeah.
Mm,
But Carl realizes he's not really until he sees the humans in the audience, because there's a bunch of aliens. It's hard probably for him to deduce how old they might be. But the humans, he says, are all like preteen or early teen males, and they're all getting very hyped up about what's going on. And he's like, "Oh, Donut, I don't think this is going to be good. These are like all kids, and they're not the happy cartoon watching kind of kids." And sure enough, when the host actually becomes visible and you can hear him, it's he's not a pleasant dude. The Maestro, as he is called. Your Maestro had to bang some slimy mudskipper tail to pull this one off, these surprise
Ew.
panelists. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Ew.
Nothing is too good for the Maestro's piglets. Suck it good, piglets. And they all scream glurp, glurp, which, okay, now we understand what that's supposed to be. It doesn't make it better.
Nope.
This seemed, as soon as I heard this, I was like, oh my god, this is a teenage boy's dream.
Yep.
And we get, the Maestro is an orc. He's a big, huge, muscular pig dude, basically. And it says it reminds Carl of the Tusklings that we saw before in the giant ball of swine, but those are like tiny compared to this guy. It's like those are like little pigs, and this is like a big wild boar or something, because they got like black bristly hair, 6.5 feet tall.
It doesn't matter how much he's described as boar-like with black hair. He's green. In my head,
orc.
Yeah, he's green.
Yeah.
Orc's green. It just is.
I have the same thing. Yep. I hadn't thought about it until you said it, but I'm like, no, yeah, he's green. Totally.
He's just a green orc.
He's also wearing a hot pink silk shirt and gold chains, which is just...
Yep, he's very Persian. He's a Persian orc.
Yeah. Fancy.
He's even a prince. He's even a prince. You know what? He's Saudi. He's a Saudi orc.
Okay. I'll allow it. And so he announces we have 6 guests, 2 stupid lame guests, 2 surprise VIP guests, and 2 surprise guests for our VIP guests. But first are the lame guests, who we see 2 Asian guys appear in 2 of the seats. And they're confused because apparently they did not get an explanation beforehand about what was going on. They just got transported right here. And we get to see a video of these guys and 2 other people in their party, a man and a woman, and they're being chased by big lizard guys. And they round a corner and they run into what the grubs pupate into. We've seen the grubs for a while. Had we seen one of these hornets before?
I think it's even mentioned in the book that Carl hasn't seen them yet.
Yeah.
And so, they're giant hornets that spit acid at you. And they spit acid right in the face of one of the guys in the video.
The only armed one.
Yeah. Which is a smart move, I guess. He drops his sword, and the woman reaches for it, and then everything freezes. And according to the screams of the crowd, it is time for Death Watch. We meet Li Jun and Zhang, the 2 guys, and you've been teleported onto the show, and time frozen where you were, and we're going to show you these things, these scenes. You have to predict whether or not the crawlers survive at the end. For everyone you get right, you get a teleport point to teleport one person in your party to the nearest safe room. So let's see how you do. And Carl is just like, oh my, fuck this. Like, he's not even on the show yet, but he's just outraged by how, like, ridiculous this whole premise is.
To be fair, I was kind of pissed off about it too.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite villain in the entire book.
Yeah, so far, very true.
I was so ready. I was like, come on, Carl. I didn't know how he was getting out of this, but I was so invested. I was like, beat his ass, metaphorically.
He's just like, this is beyond the pale. Fuck this. We're leaving. And the robot comes down like, no, you can't leave. Get back in your seat.
We paid for
Like,
you.
no.
Yeah. And
But I
Carl
mean, this
says,
is
go.
when he gets really smart again, and it's like, he knows they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
He suspects.
He-
I
he-
That's
actually,
true.
I haven't said much good things about the writing of the book, but I really enjoyed this internal, like, the aside of his thought process and how he just it was all just running on gut intuition, and I was like, no, this is good. This is good. This also kept the suspense going. It's a reason why these 3 chapters blew by so damn quick. It's really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Carl, he pushes it. He's like, we're leaving. And the thing's like, you do what we say or we'll drop you in the ocean. And he's like, bullshit. We are worth a lot of money. There's no way Borant's going to let you do that.
Bold.
Yeah. Big move.
There's been no proof before. This is all gut intuition.
Is this, I don't remember, is this before or after we find out that they were just on the most watched Floor 2 battle in history? So, I mean, that might be a hint.
Yes.
But then he gets contacted by Administrator Mukta, whatever, who we met last time briefly. And it's like, you're going to go on the show, or he doesn't agree that we're going to dump you in the ocean. What he says is you will be accelerated. There are plenty of other crawlers to show on our program. This is not a bluff. And so I love that Carl's like, okay, so hold on. As long as we participate and don't say anything bad about Borant, you guys don't care what we do, right? And Mukta's basically like, no, I guess not. It's like, oh, okay then.
Let me check my aides.
Me on now.
Yeah, that sounds good. There's like 8
We just want you to
lawyers
be
on the
entertaining.
side.
We go.
And so, yeah, he says, we want in on this, but before this segment is over, we want on the show. Tell him that. And Donut's over here like, Carl, what are you doing? Like, when he stood up, she's like, you're going to get us in trouble. Stop. And now she's like, what is the plan here? And he's like, I'm just, let me do my thing.
Got a plan. Just go with it.
Yeah. And so these guys have earned 2 teleport points. They can pick 2 people from their party to teleport away. And they're arguing about who that should be, whether it should be anyone. And then Carl pops in after the Maestro's like, oh, hey, our VIPs want to be on early. All right, here we go. Since they want to suck on it so bad, we're going to bring them on early.
Glurp.
Yeah. And when they pop in, oh no, okay, so it was after, because it's here where he's like, they just broke the record for most watched second floor battle in the history of Dungeon Crawler World.
I thought so. I was like, no, this was like just intuition.
And of course, he's like, if it was me, I would have killed all those old people already, but you know how it is with humans and cats, apparently.
Nope, you don't know cats, orc.
Yeah. I was like, I doubt you understand cats.
If Princess Donut was by herself, those old people would be dead.
It's quite possible, yeah.
She wasn't a huge fan, no.
And so Carl's like, hey, they got 2 teleport points. Why don't you teleport us to them? And the Maestro's like, no, that's not how it works. You're not part of the game. It's against the rules. And he's like, fuck the rules. I think we should tell the rules to suck on it. What do you guys think, audience? And they love it. And he's in his head, he's just like, I mean, I don't actually want to go there, like halfway across the world. But he's got a pretty good feeling, based on what he's seen so far, that these guys are on a tight budget and that also Borant nickels and dimes them for every little thing. So he's like, there's no way that they'd be allowed to teleport us this far. But he can also sense that this guy is a bully. And
there was also
sorry, go ahead.
There was like there was a description there about YouTube, right? Where it was like a YouTube show with like no budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is such a line that has aged poorly. When Mr. Beast has a theme park in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, he has a budget.
He has a huge budget. He has an unlimited budget. He gives
Yeah,
out
that man
millions of
spends so
dollars.
much money.
Like,
Yeah, so much money.
like I'm like, this is a bit that aged pretty poorly, because now there's YouTube channels that have budgets bigger than TV, like network TV shows.
True.
But it was a fun little thing that just made me go, oh yeah, this isn't old, but it's aging really quick.
Can't mention YouTube. It's just that's too topical.
Yeah, it's too chaotic. It changes all the time.
Just like you can't talk about Twitter. That would be aged already.
Yeah, it's X.
Stupidest meme
Extreme.
ever.
Glurp, glurp. Come to X.
But while the Maestro is distracted, and like, the Maestro tries to be like, "Oh yeah, really? Maybe we should do that." And Carl's like, I dare you. Go ahead," because he knows, or he's pretty confident that he cannot. That the Maestro is powerless to do this thing that he's threatening to do. And while he's all pissed off, Carl turns to Li Jun and Zhang and gives them advice for how to get out of the situation they're in, right before they get teleported away. And then they get to see it play out. It works just like Carl advised them. Like they manage to escape and heal their friend who got hit by acid. And the audience is like, okay, I don't like, they didn't get to see anyone die. They're not hyped up about it. They're just kind of like, all right. And I love that chapter ends with Carl looking at the Maestro. It's like, glurp on that motherfucker. Like, haha.
It was a good victory.
Yeah.
It was my favorite victory Carl had the whole book. Because it felt really well earned, and I really wanted to see that orc go down, and that was fun. And I also like that he lost his audience. That's all that man cares about. And you've made his audience confused because they're all 13-year-olds, and they're like,
We were supposed to see people dying. What the hell?
if they're not dying and Carl's not fighting, what are we glurping?
Yeah, before we get to the
Teenage
end of the
boys.
show,
Yeah, they
it
don't
says-
care about what was right and wrong. Just care about action.
Nah, yeah. What is that stupid thing people say that like boys don't have like morals until like 21?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that, but yeah, okay.
I've heard it a few times earlier in my life, and I was just like, "That's not true." Well. In some cases, 29.
I mean, in some cases, never. Let's be
In
honest. But,
quite a few cases, never.
but before we even get to the end of the show, Carl notes that like a bunch of his audience is kind of already like tuned out and switched over to other things, and you can see the some of the seats are empty out there.
They got on their
yeah.
phones.
And after the Death Watch section, we switch over. He's like, "Hey, now we're going to show you how our VIP guests escaped that room that they were trapped in." And while that is playing, Donut's like, "Dude, you're scaring me, Carl." And he's like, "No, it's fine. I'm just trying to make him angry." And she's like, "It works. Now he hates us. I don't like people hating us. Our follower count is going to go down." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I don't think you have to worry about that. You see those two chairs over there? There's some special guests for us." And Donut is immediately like, "Oh, you think it's Miss Beatrice? Maybe her and her boyfriend? Or Miss Beatrice and Ferdinand?" And we still have no idea who the hell Ferdinand is.
I did not even think Beatrice.
Neither did Carl, it doesn't seem like.
I think we all knew that wasn't coming.
I only thought it was going to be Frank, and I was like, "Yes, Frank." And when Princess Donut was like, "Do you think it's Beatrice or loved ones?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it could have been them, but no, it's not."
This isn't that kind of show.
Especially since, as you know, it's being written, having Donut say, "Do you think it's them?" means no, it's not.
Well, Carl has a pretty good idea because he's basically like, we've met, other than the old people, we've met one other group of humans.
Mhm.
So unless they're going to bring the goblins, Rory and Lorelai in here, it's going to be Frank Q and Maggie Mai.
Which shit, I would have loved that too.
I know, right? That would have been entertaining.
Yeah, bring the goblins. They're probably dead.
Probably, yeah. But before we get there, we find out a little bit about some of the future of the dungeon when the Maestro is like, "This is my fucking show. You need to learn your place. You savages are all the same. My family has a long history with the dungeon. We were there when the Syndicate created the crawl. And if you make it to the 9th floor, you'll learn what my family can do." Oh, your family. I'm so impressed.
Mm-hmm. My dad owns a dealership.
And we find out that the Blood Sultanate, who Donut's tiara makes her part of the line of succession for the Blood Sultanate on the 9th floor. He's like, "Oh, are you part of them?" And he's like, "Do I look like a fucking Naga, however you'd say that?" My
Snake
family's
people.
yeah, my family's the Skull Clan. We're always in the top 3 in the faction wars. The Blood Sultanate is almost always eliminated first.
Carrie.
So we don't. I mean, that's more information than we've ever gotten before about future floors. So kind of
Yes.
interesting.
And there's a tease of like generational wars that the family has fought in and everything. And I'm like, oh, do the wars coincide with the show? And is that what the floors 3, 6, and 9 are? It's this giant ass war.
Yeah, he specifically calls out 2 named things: faction wars and celestial ascendancy, which are things that apparently don't happen in the Squim Conglomerate's Battle Royale, which was the previous season, but are in Dungeon Crawler World or whatever. So, and Carl's like, wait a second. So if you're in the dungeon and you get hurt, do you guys like really die? And we don't get an answer to that because it's back on the show. And the Maestro's like, I mean, nobody can say you guys don't have the balls of a Tauren, which I assume is like a bull person, but
My Warcraft brain says yes.
right, exactly. Some of the audience say you've been stumbling your way through the dungeon, only surviving because you're the AI's pet. That happens sometimes. The dungeon turns a crawler into its bitch, but
I mean, it's an AI.
I mean, it's a weird
It
AI
doesn't
with a
have
foot fetish,
feeling.
but
That it does, but that at least is entertaining.
you heard it here. Jennifer finds foot fetish entertaining.
Well, the mocking of foot fetish is entertaining. Let's be clear.
So he's like, hey, we got these 2 guests, and he guesses who it might be. And Carl's like, yeah, hi, Frank Q, hi, Maggie Mai, which should just completely take the wind out of the Maestro sails, except that Carl then says, I see you didn't find the present I left for you. That's too bad. And that gives the orc a big smile. And then Carl's like, oh shit, was I wrong? Is it really Beatrice? But no, it is Frank and Maggie, and we get to see a little recap of their journey in the dungeon. But not just them, a teenage girl is with them. And their tutorial guide, unlike Mordecai, sits them down and it's like, okay, the only way to survive is to kill other crawlers. Go out there and take them out. Which I wonder what Carl and Donut would have done if they'd gotten that person who just is like, okay, let me explain to you how the dungeon works. You got to kill other people or you're fucked.
Look, I know I already
I think
said
that's
I love these chapters. They were my favorite chapters. This was stupid, right? Like this is
Yeah.
stupid. Like this is just a way to again just wash Frank out of any of his like bullshit that he did. Oh, he was just taught that. What? We're constantly told that Mordecai has to like walk on pins and needles or he'll get like some kind of punishment. But here's one of their like guild guys just going like, nah, just kill all the contestants. And there's like no repercussions to being obviously that against the game. So yeah, it just felt like bullshit. Where I'm just like, this is stupid. We had a villain. Why did you do this? And then you replace the villain with a bad villain. At least there's the orc. Please don't ruin the orc. Let him stay an asshole.
Personally, I kind of like that we get this idea because we don't get to see any of the other game guides.
Mhm.
So suddenly it's like, oh, maybe they're like very different from each other. Like they all give very different advice, and we just assume that what Mordecai says makes sense. So it must be the way that they do things.
I mean, that would make sense because they're all different people, all different agendas or thoughts on how you should play the game.
But it
I
kind of
mean,
goes.
because I don't play the game the same way you'd play the game. I mean,
True.
you like do shit, and I'm like stumbling around hoping things work out for the best.
I don't know. I see that. I see that people have different like philosophies for how to win the game. And I guess removing competition helps with your game. Sure, whatever. My objection comes only because like it doesn't mesh well with the corporate side of all of this narrative. There would definitely be somebody who's like, this is against the operating manual. the things you were saying is not in compliance. Like there would be somebody popping in going, you can't keep telling contestants to kill their children.
Yeah.
That's not the rules.
I think probably because we know that what they care most about is, being entertaining so they can make money.
Yes.
I feel like almost certainly ups the entertainment value to have one or two people out there doing exactly that, being like, hey, why don't you go and you don't want every game guy doing that, but if you got a couple of them, it
To
raises the
manufacture a
tension all
Shock
villain.
of
around.
it, because the shock of it pays off. People are, I mean, we hate to say it, but people love seeing the things that are like completely against their morals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I okay. If that gets revealed later on, I will remove my objection.
Yeah, I don't know if I think
Because
that it's intentional, but I can see that argument.
because yes, that is a thing in like reality TV where you need to construct villains. And usually if you ever see like interviews after a show, people are like, "You were like a monster. Does you feel bad doing all?" It's like all of that was taken out of context, and it's just in editing that I look like the worst human being. So yeah, okay, fine. But also, you can just do it in editing to make your villains, because that's also what happens in real reality TV.
That's true. Although in this case, it's like everyone has a live feed and people can watch them 24/7. So I don't know that
It is
editing is as
streaming,
big a thing.
which is another thing too. All right, see, now we're gonna get really fucking meta with this. Reality TV as the framing for this is its own narrative, but you're right, it's a streaming thing, and on streaming like platforms, you don't need a villain because you're going to have diehard stans who are going to be like, I'm only for Papa Puffin stuff. And anyone who's in his way is like, they're Nazis. So
Mm.
like it's already built into like the streaming ecosystem, and like you don't need to create villains simply because fans are going to make their own narrative because it's an echo chamber.
Interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think I'm thinking about it too hard. I think I'm thinking about it more than the author is.
Quite possibly. Yeah. We're getting
Yeah.
deep into it. Uh, but what we see in the video is so the game guide tells them you got to go kill other crawlers. The girl apparently doesn't want to, so at least we never see her participating in any of the killing as they go through it.
Mhm.
We see Frank and Maggie ingratiating themselves with various groups of humans they meet and then murdering them. And they even try to, it's like one of them has survived and they're like, here, take the gun and shoot him. Yvette is the little girl, or the teenager. I guess I shouldn't say little girl, but she won't do it. So,
Which is so fucked up.
yeah.
Yeah. like
As
I'm
a
not a
mother, I have
parent.
severe problems with this. I'm just saying.
Right. I'm not a parent, and I'm like, okay, you believe the game is about killing. You still wouldn't have your kid do the killing, right? You would do everything to protect the kid, and
Yes.
you do the killing.
Exactly. The kid would be far hidden in some cave, and we'll take care of this shit.
It'd
Yeah.
just be like the fucking old people. You would just keep them in the safe rooms. All right, I've cleared away. Come on. If I don't come back by the second day, I'm dead. Stay here and just get crushed.
Right? Find the Waffle House, hang out until the floor collapses.
Get drunk. You have my permission.
We even find out that she was there in the bathroom in that scene with Frank and Maggie when they met Carl and Donut. She was hiding behind. I guess Maggie has some sort of like stealth bubble. He compares it to his bubble shield thing that he has, his protective shell. So it's just like you can set it off in an area, and then anyone in that area, you can't see them on the mini map. I guess is what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And so she comes out and sees her parents frozen with the word naughty over them because they tried to kill Carl and Donut in the safe room. And then we see that they did, in fact, come across the rat corpse and they looted the stick of dynamite.
And Frank is dumb as rocks.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
He only picked up the lit one and he dropped it immediately at his feet.
Yeah, that was not intelligent.
Dumbest motherfucker.
He pays the price for it because when the thing goes off, it dislodges some rock that cuts his right hand off.
Hell of a rock.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
I was like, you couldn't have said it got blown off or something? Like,
Serious.
This
I
feels
know,
a
that
little
would
blow
make
up in
contrived.
his
far more
hand?
sense. Like, why did we have to use this rock? I feel like that would have made all the sense you needed. Like, the rock was not needed.
But also, Yvette is horribly injured in the explosion, and she's laying there crying. And then it shows Maggie Mai, her mother, go over and strangle her to death.
Just Tony Soprano to Chris.
I never watched The Sopranos.
It was a great moment.
I've always thought about maybe going back and doing The Sopranos because it just was such an amazing show from all I've heard, but I've never gotten around to it.
That's the moment that a lot of people think Tony became irredeemable.
You mean like when Anakin slaughtered all those younglings?
Except if you assume that like Anakin had been doing that his entire life, but this time the audience went, no, that's too far. Because
interesting point. Yeah, because Tony Soprano's already. Yeah, no.
Yeah, he's been in the life since he was like 13.
Oh, that's one of the biggest things about the prequel trilogy to me. A lot of people hate on it, but I'm just like, I feel like the moment he murders all of the kids, I'm like, oh, okay, so the redemption that we saw for him when he kills the Emperor in Jedi, like, no, that doesn't work. Fuck you. You murdered a bunch of children. You don't get to come back by last minute deciding I'm going to save my son.
I am a millennial, so I am already predisposed to not like the prequels. It's all the kids younger than me who love the prequels because they grew up with it as children. I remember seeing it was Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and I left the theater and I was like, oh my God. I actually told Charlie this like after I saw it, where I was like, I saw that movie and I thought, I shouldn't write anything ever. I'll never top how great that was. And I saw it with my uncle, and he was this fucking blast of cold water going, that was the most dog shit fucking movie. And I was like, oh. And slowly over time, I've been like, yeah. And yeah, the redemption of Anakin Skywalker is such an ass pull where you're just like, Father, no. And he's just like, let me kill this old man. Now I get to be an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you. Fuck you, Anakin Skywalker.
Did your uncle then see eventually the sequel trilogy? Because I feel like, Revenge of the Sith is almost tolerable after you've done that.
I have no idea if he's ever seen the sequel movies. I know he didn't care for Mandalorian, and I preferred Mandalorian over the sequel. So
yeah, Mandalorian's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he's a Gen Xer, so I think Gen X is more of the 2 and 1 are good, 3 is whatever, and everything after that's been kind of crap. So,
yeah.
Hell, my dad he would adamantly never call New Hope a New Hope because he's like, that's Star Wars. Fuck
it's
you.
Star Wars.
You can't change the name.
Definitely Star Wars.
And I'm like, as a kid, I was like, they never changed the name because my entire life it's been a New Hope.
Right.
Whereas for him, it was like 15 years it was Star Wars until George Lucas was like, that's actually the 4th movie.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what, you mean episode 4? And then your dad just like smacks you.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
I mean, no, it's not episode 4. And I forget. Say Star Wars, I mean Star Wars, not, fucking prequels with Jar Jar Binks.
No, I see, and it's funny because I remember having a similar experience to what you described when I left episode 1 in theaters, and I was like, man, how amazing was that? And yeah.
No, I always hate Jar Jar Binks. Always drove me insane. I could never like that movie because of Jar Jar Binks.
I also remember leaving Phantom Menace really fucking happy. And I think the reason why it worked on us was, number 1, we were kids. But number 2, the last third of that movie is the only part of that movie that works. So you left on the higher part of the movie anyway.
Well, and the pod racing.
Maybe. I've heard that my whole life, and I've never liked the pod race sequence.
Yeah.
It's always been boring. Even in theaters as a kid, I was like, this is really going on for a while. Joe Camel over here's cheating? Oh no.
I don't remember hating Jar Jar the first time. I feel like it's subsequent watches for me where I'm just like, oh my God, this guy can nobody shut him up.
When you learn about minstrel plays, he becomes so unbearable. Because you're like, oh my God, how did you do blackface with an actual black actor as a like duck lizard. How did you do this, George Lucas?
Anyway, back to the thing that we're doing. We could do a whole nother show on Star Wars, I'm sure.
Yeah, Misa, sorry.
Oh,
Misa, sorry, Master.
Bombad General.
Oh, so bad. So fucking bad. The people younger than us are fucking wrong. It's the kids who are wrong.
It's the kids who are wrong. But okay, no, they see Maggie kill her daughter, and they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? She would have healed. Like what?" And Maggie's like, "You don't know. You don't know anything. You didn't get the whole story." And it's like, what do we need the whole fucking story for? You murdered your child. Like, what fucking whole story makes that okay? And he's like, what? She goes, you don't know what we've had to do to survive. And he's like, what? Your daughter's dead, but it's okay because you got credit for it? Yeah, I'm sure she'd be so fucking proud. Which just pushes Maggie over the edge where she jumps up and like tries to stab him with a glowy dagger, but they're not in the same room. So all she does apparently is hit the wall with her hand because she's like, what the... Because they can't
she's
see where
apparently not very smart.
What
I
gave
don't
it
know
away? The killing her
know if-
child for no reason?
I don't know if they've ever been on a show before, so they may not have any idea how like the trailer thing works. But
I feel like though when you go
Holograms.
into it, you've got to realize that it's a hologram.
Right?
You
You
would
know you're
think.
not in the same room with the host.
Do they think they're like surrounded by spirits?
The whole thing was very disorienting for Carl and Donut the first time they went on a show, and they actually had a production assistant who gave them kind of a nice explanation of things. I get the impression that this show does not spring for that sort of thing.
True, but I also think that the authorial intent here is just that she's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing. She's fucking
Yeah.
nuts. But and the Maestro, like, this is what he wants. He can't. This is the Jerry Springer show in this segment where it's like, yeah, fight. Like, audience gotta love this. And really, I think that he actually tamps it down somewhere. He's like, clearly, you guys have beef with one another. Like, who needed you to tell them that?
Yeah, like we all knew that. Like everybody who's watched any of this knew that.
And then that gives Carl the opportunity to be like, well, as far as I'm concerned, it's settled. Whatever business we had has been transacted. Meanwhile, Frank says nothing like the whole time, basically, and he's described as having like this 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, he's a broken doll now, so now he's not interesting. In fact, there's a horrible, horrible future where maybe he joins forces with Carl.
Oh, you have wanted some other people in the party.
Yeah, I don't want that other people in the party. I wanted Carl to kill him and get his first skull fighting him. But whatever. Let's feel sad for the murderer, man.
Carl can't even quite let it go with like, hey, our business is done. He's like, I'm sorry about what happened to your kid, but fuck both of you. She deserved better.
Fuck yeah, Carl.
And this is where Maggie's like, I'm going to find you and watch you die. You and that fucking cat. And it's like, well, don't bring me into this. Like, I'm not the one who went all danger dingo on my own kid. And Carl's at this point just tired of it. Like, congratulations, Maestro. You reunited us. We all know how she feels about it. I've said what I'm going to say, so can we be done? And then the Maestro spends several minutes trying to, like, lead them into further discussion, and none of them will give him anything. Donut doesn't even talk to him, just talks to the audience and, like, makes fun of the Maestro. Like, I once watched a Cocker Spaniel lick her own butthole for 30 minutes straight, and that was more insightful than that question. Oh, thank you, Donut. Best guest on the show.
Always.
And then there are parting gifts. Carl gets a pair of boots and some socks. And he's like, he's trying to get a reaction out of me. So Carl's like, hey, thanks. These will be real comfortable when I'm in a safe room. I hope it didn't cost you too much.
You know, I actually thought it was going to be a skirt.
I know, like there was so many better things you could have done here.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, there's a better insult.
Yeah, the shoes, I mean, I get it, but I don't feel like it was that big of a smack in the face.
Yeah, the fact that the audience also never caught on, I was like, that tells you that was just a weak ass troll.
Yeah, he can't. Carl's like, I can't tell if the audience doesn't get what he was going for or they just don't care. But either way, it doesn't go over anywhere like the Maestro wants it to. And honestly, I feel like you have to imagine that just like sponsors in the Hunger Games, like it's got to cost a lot of money to give stuff to the people playing. So I imagine that these gifts are a fair chunk of the budget that they have for this show. So not getting what he wanted out of them is probably not a good thing. Meanwhile, Frank and Maggie Mai get a potion, a legendary skill potion, which will raise your Find Crawler skill to level 15, which means you type in any crawler's name and it'll tell you exactly where they are. And Maggie's like, Maggie is excited. She's like, "What, really? Can I drink this? Like, Frank already has the skill. It's not a very high level. But if I drink this, I get it." He's like, "Yeah, either one of you." And then it kind of fizzles out there. And the Maestro's like, okay, I guess that's it. You know what to do, audience. And it says, the audience lukewarmly glurped, glurped. And there you go. And the chapter ends with Maggie clutching this potion, like smiling at Carl. And it's like, oh.
I'll come back in book 4.
I'll come back in book 13. Ha ha ha.
Please fucking die next chapter. Let's wrap this up.
And so we go back to the dungeon and they're hanging out, opening some of their boxes that they got before, talking about why did that woman kill her daughter? Who knows? Maybe it's just, teenage girls, they drive you crazy, so sorry, my teenage child was walking by, so she's just staring at me now. Let's see. And then there's a moment where Donut's like, "Hey Carl, I heard what Mordecai said to you about the 9th floor," which we'd reestablished earlier in the section that Mordecai was like, "Hey, this crown is going to be real bad on the 9th floor. You can always leave the party. She's the one with the crown on her head." And apparently this is stuck with Donut a bit. Like, she's kind of bothered. And he's just like, "Why don't we worry about finishing this floor before we think about anything like 6th floor or no, that far away?"
Dick.
BS, because there's no way in hell he'd ever leave her.
Yeah, dick fucking move.
Yeah, it was just a dick move not answering her because we all know he's not going to leave her.
I mean, he tried at the beginning of the 1st floor, but I think they've grown a lot since then.
Oh, yeah. Ain't happening. And he couldn't, for his friend, say, "Hey, it's me and you, ride or die."
Yeah, well, and he could barely leave the old people, so
yeah,
they were useless.
True.
He's not useless.
But yeah, so she just gets to keep worrying about this because he doesn't reassure her really. He's like, "Yeah, we'll worry about that later."
Dang.
Then the recap show happens. He misses some of it, but we find out that those the big group of guys from Africa who had the AK-47s, they've all died except for one. They got
I love
by
that.
A giant slime boss or something.
He's just like curled up.
There's one left that didn't make it into the boss room and is just on the ground crying, and the show shows this person on the ground crying for like a minute straight because their entire party is dead.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't expect that. I thought maybe we would meet those guys at some point. Nope, just fodder.
There's still one available to meet, I suppose.
I guess, but how many broken dolls are we going to meet?
More than you want to.
I'm getting that feeling. Where Carl's going to be the only person who's like, "I will keep going."
We see Lucia Mar briefly, who we discover has a magical shield because one of those Brindle Vespas spits acid at her and it just hits the shield and doesn't get her.
Yeah, Carl is the pet of the AI.
Right? Well, yeah.
That's OP.
She has a magical mace and a personal shield and 2 dogs to rip stuff apart for her. And then the last 10 minutes are their escape, which is, they really went into it in detail. No wonder if it was the most watched 2nd floor battle ever. And actually, it shows that before the Rage Elemental fell into the thing and disintegrated, it was almost dead. Like the explosions and all the other stuff had gotten it down to almost 0 before it died. They could have gotten some experience if it just taken a little more damage. And Carl, in what I think is maybe his most clever moment to date, is like, "I'm suspicious of that." Like, it feels like they're trying to tempt us to be like, "Hey, look, you can kill one of these. Why don't you summon another one?" It's got to be a trap.
I agree. Like, I didn't at first. The moment he started talking about no, this is a trap. Like, it would split off in two like a hydra or something. I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. That was not going to
Yeah.
end. Smart. Carl's smart. He's smarter than he looks.
Yep.
I also like that the scene ends with like Imani flipping off the dungeon before she goes down the stairs. That's a great place to end it. And we've ticked below 1 million people in the dungeon, which is depressing for him. But then the update comes, and big update. Yeah, non-sapient mobs will no longer disintegrate if they go into the stairwell. We all just watched that get exploited. It was very exciting. It's not going to happen again. Also, turns out the Brindle Vespas proliferation is too aggressive, so we're going to half the number of them in the dungeon and adjust the damage from their acid down slightly.
Acid bad.
Yeah. And then there's a whole thing where Carl has a new tab about because he gets money if somebody else uses Carl's Jug-a-Boom to kill anything, and he's gotten 4 coins already. But because of the fine print, if he cashes out, they collect 2 coins plus 25% deposit fee rounded up, which is just ridiculous. But he's like, I'd have to have 5 coins, and I'd still just get 1 coin out of it.
He already has some. I mean, at least he's got some money now. Didn't really have to do anything for it.
Yeah, that's true. He can't actually get any of it out without losing a lot, but yeah, it's something. I feel like they probably made way more money off of just killing things than he would get out of that anyway.
Probably, but it's still free money.
Yeah. And then Pop Zev shows up again. So she got a timeout because it was considered cheating that she warned them about the Rage Elemental before it appeared when she was like, "Oh, Carl Donut, run!"
Totally called that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they decided on examination that the crawlers noticed it at the same time as her warning, so it's okay. And she reinforces it was improper for you to attempt to disengage from the interview, but actually the Borant Corporation is kind of happy with how it all turned out, so they wanted to commend you for showing proper respect to the organization. And he was like, proper respect? No, fuck those guys, but I can't say that. And she tries to touch on, like, the politics are complicated. Like, yes, they buy airtime from us, but also, like, they're a faction who are associated with a different faction that we don't like. So it's all, like, don't worry about it.
I need a map of all this.
Right.
It'll come.
We have no details, really.
It'll come. This is a book series that's current and modern. The internet is all about this minute, like, little lore details. We'll get that shit.
And so, yes, Maestro is actually a prince, the younger brother of Crown Prince Stalwart. And I guess their father gives them some money to make this show. And Carl's like, Prince Stalwart? That's almost as bad as the Maestro, which I guess these are their actual names. And she goes, they're orcs. Everything they do is mawkish. And he's like, okay, I don't know what that word means.
Do you happen to know what Darth Maul's brother's name was?
Does Darth Maul have a brother?
He does.
No.
Savage Opress.
Savage Opress. Yep. And he's yellow. Interesting.
Yep. That's what that reminded me of when I read it, where I was just like, no. If this is their culture, this is very Star Wars dumb, because yeah, Prince Stalwart, not a terrible name. It's just a Prince Charming type of name. It could be so much worse. Savage Opress. Clancy Brown, by the way.
Clancy Brown does some good voiceover work, I have to say. I've seen him. I've heard him in several things, which, yeah.
Everything from Lex Luthor to fucking Mr. Krabs.
I actually wasn't even thinking about that because I'm not a huge SpongeBob person, but yeah, Mr. Krabs for sure. Mawkish, I had to Google that, by the way. Sentimental in an exaggerated or false way, or else having a faint sickly flavor. I'm not sure how either of those is super relevant to the naming conventions of the orcs, but okay. And she explains, the Tusklings are rulers of the Orcish supremacy. These guys are from the Skull Empire, which is like much bigger and more dangerous than the Orcish supremacy. And Zev tells us every third floor, the 3rd, 6th, and 9th, and so forth, they're all linked in a way that will become clear later, but we can't give you more information than that.
War!
All the info, please.
secret. Let's see. What else we got? She advises them to get out and level up a little bit, be ready to go. Now that the Meadowlark storyline is complete, we can wait a day or two before focusing on the next story arc. I love her perspective on this, where it's like, yeah, you guys, we got to get a new story arc going for your team. Keep viewers interested. And Donna's like, oh, well, how's the Maggie and Frank thing playing with the audience? And she's like, it has potential, but it's already tired.
Hell yeah. So disappointed.
Really, you make everybody hate you when you kill your own kid.
Well, and she's like, most people don't think they'll survive long enough for her to make good on her threat. Also, she's not very charismatic and acting more and more irrationally, so...
Which at some point, you're just like, buddy, you're writing this thing.
And then we find out that things have really blown up with Prince Maestro after the Pork Boy Snick, which is basically a deep fake.
It is disturbing.
It's slash fiction.
Yeah. Somebody made a deep fake of Carl and the Maestro getting it on. And not only
does
that...
really like sucking.
Right? He loves that. Carl makes a good point at first that he's like, but I mean, like, why do people care? Like, I mean, I'm not gay, but is that like an issue in the wider galaxy? Like, why would anyone... And she's like, okay, well, it's insulting because the video is both graphic and humiliating. You two say things to each other.
Which, now I'm just kind of curious, but...
Yeah, so is Donut. She's like, can we watch it? I want to watch it.
I believe Donut does watch it.
And also, no one knows where it came from. It's gone viral. It just came out 2 hours ago. No one knows who made it. And the quality is so good that people are suspecting it might be real. To the point that...
Jennifer, who do you think who do you think made this?
Totally boring.
I think it's the AI.
Ooh, the AI is really in control of everything.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
The moment they were talking about how it was like so realistic, it might be real, and his dig about how you're the AI's bitch. I'm like, the AI just did this to get back at him.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't thought of that, but that makes 100% sense.
I was wondering if we had this, because I've had no one to talk to about this, and I was like, hey, do you have the same freaking thought I did?
Now I do. Makes total sense.
I will say the first time I read it, that was also my initial thought, was like, if it's so good that even the future people can't figure out who, maybe it was the computer program that did it.
Right. It just all clicks together.
But I love that it's so realistic that even Zev is like, it's not real, right, Carl? Did you guys hook up and I wasn't aware?
Don't you know where he is all the time? Like,
yeah, when would I have the time to hook up with a prince orc?
With gross fingernails.
I love Carl's logic. He's like, the Tusklings that we met really seemed open to some weird stuff. So people can't care too much. And everyone is calling the prince Pork Boy and Carl's naughty little piggy. You have to watch the video to understand. Anyway, in the past...
I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, that one I got. Yeah, that I got.
In the past hour, your appearance fee has doubled. You're now equal with Lucia Marr.
Hell yeah.
And because it's happening at the expense of the Skull Empire, the party is very happy with you. And Carl's like, I feel like this might be a problem. We're pissing people off. And Zev's just like, no such thing as bad publicity. There's not much the other governments can do to you anyway. Not until the 6th floor. Or if they spring for a deity sponsorship. But anyway, don't worry about it.
That's true. But we also just had Zev be like, once the AI sees you, the eye of Sauron is on you. So I'm like, there is some publicity you don't want. And I think they now have the AI's attention more so than anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I feel like that it's not particularly encouraging that she's like, oh, the other governments can't hurt you. Well, not until the 6th floor. Or if they spring for a deity sponsorship. Like, you're not making this better. Like, we were worried about the 9th floor from what he said before, but now you're telling me something on the 6th floor can also get me. Great. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she leaves, she's like, I feel bad we got her in trouble. I'm glad she's okay. And then as they head out at the end of the chapter to go and, try to grind out some levels, Donut's just like, Carl, darling, I can't believe you hooked up with that guy. He sure squealed a lot, though. Like, damn it, Donut.
God damn it, Donut.
It's such a perfect because the audience can't see them while they're talking to Zev while they're with an administrator. So it's such a perfect little thing to do right after that. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our section for this time. We're going to read through the end of the book for next time. So that's chapters 45, 46, 47, and the epilogue.
Hell yeah.
I say through the end of the book, but in the hardcover, there is an extra piece at the very end that we're not going to read just yet. So don't. There's a section of this
Is
short
it in the
story
Kindle?
at the back of every hardcover book. No, it's only in the hardcover versions. So
Well,
you don't
I
have to worry
now
about it
have
in your
one of
Kindle.
those, but I'm not
Oh, you
reading it.
do? Yeah, Matt signed her a hardcover. I put that on the
Oh,
Instagram
yeah.
at the convention. So, but yeah, don't read that yet. We may do that
Read
at
that
some
later.
point. But yeah, it's like a short story that's broken up in pieces at the back of each of the hardcovers. So I'm not sure when the best time is to start getting into it. But it's called Backstage at the Pineapple Cabaret. So if you see that, don't read past that.
We're done. Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyway, moving into the end of the book, or potentially as we continue, or as the series continues, I should say. What do you guys think is going to happen? Where we're going to go? Let's do predictions.
I don't know. I feel like now that we've kind of maybe set it up for the end of this book with Maggie, I kind of honestly just want that to be over with. I don't know. The whole thing about killing her daughter rubbed me the wrong way. So because I am a mother, I'm going to feel like there has to be more to that story, about why she killed Yvette. So I'm going to say we're going to learn something else about that might change the way we feel about it. I'm really going to hope we do, because as a mother, I can't imagine killing one of my children. Can't.
Yeah.
So
For
Yeah.
like no reason. Here's all these
Yeah.
magical health potions.
I
Fuck
know,
you,
she would have been
child of
fine.
mine.
Yeah, she would have been fine. She would have been fine. I mean, at least for now. Can't guarantee, other floors, but she would have been fine from
Seriously.
that. Yeah, so there's something else too. So I'm gonna say there is, and we're gonna learn about that. And the book is gonna wrap up with some big epic battle between Maggie and Donut and Carl, and maybe stepping into the third floor.
Okay. I mean, it does seem like we're probably approaching the third floor at the end of this, right? So-
That's my assumption, is that we're just going to go to the third floor. We're done with Frank and Maggie May. I don't think we're going to deal with them anymore this book, which is a shame because I kind of want it just over with now that I feel like the Frank storyline just got sabotaged. I don't want to feel sympathy for Frank, and crazy axe mother is just not interesting. She's just some kind of witch monster you kill.
Yeah. Well, and you guys had previously, I think maybe in the last episode, you guys were like, I don't know that we're building to anything at the end of this book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I don't know, has this section changed any opinions on that? I mean, Jennifer just said maybe we have a big battle with Maggie as the climax here. I hate saying that because that's not what climax actually means, but that's the accepted
Resolution.
usage.
I think I'm hoping that there's something, and feeling like there's not going to be.
Ditto.
Because I'm gonna really not like it if there's not some kind of something to tidy up the end of this one to move us into, next story. But I kind of feel like, based on reading this, that I just don't think he's gonna give us that.
Exactly.
Hoping for.
Exactly. I don't think we're getting anything wrapped up. We're just going to be introduced to a new boss and defeat it in one chapter.
Okay.
That's all it'll be. Maybe it'll be a fun fight. I've enjoyed most of the big fights, but yeah, I'm not expecting anything. The book's done. We had our big climactic showdown, and it was on Joe Rogan.
All the teenage boys are happy now.
They're actually bored as fuck because they didn't get any of it.
That's true. They're all sitting there going, "It went over my head."
They didn't fuck or kill.
I mean, maybe
This show
Carl
went woke.
Maybe Carl and the Maestro really did do something. Like, we're not watching him 24/7.
Let's hope not, because
you know, if the AI did create the slash fiction, if that destroys his channel, that would be the funniest thing. If like every little boy watching that was like, "Oh, they're not sucking him, he's sucking them. That sucks." And then they just leave. Like that would be so funny. That'd be like the dumbest way for the doctor to be like, "Doesn't she look tired?" and that just completely unravel. Like I love. So yeah, you know what? I hope that happened. I hope that ruined his show.
I love this parallel to the Doctor and bringing down the Prime Minister. That's great. Yeah. It would have been a much different episode of Doctor Who if it involved like a deep fake porno, but
Doctor made a porno with the TARDIS.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go, Prime Minister. Now you're out of a job. I'm the Doctor. That's
I'm the
doctor I am.
Okay. Yeah, no. Any other predictions from either of you guys?
Nah, the book is over. I think we're just gonna get a boss fight and then we're gonna move on.
Okay.
To book 2. Moving forward, I think the AI created the thing, like I said. I wrote this down because I keep meaning to fucking mention this, and I keep forgetting in the moment. Ferdinand's a cat.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, they were just trying to have a baby kitten? Yeah,
Right?
she's this prize-winning cat, right? So I would think you'd want to breed her at some point. So is Ferdinand like a stud? He's studding up here? Is that what's happening? I don't know. But yeah, I'm with you. I think he's a cat.
The way she talks about Ferdinand and the way that Carl doesn't know that she exists, and the fact that Princess Donut jumped out of the window in the night and everything, it was to go meet Ferdinand and all that stuff. Like she has a romance with like an alley cat or something. Like
that would be good too. Yeah.
right. That's all it is. And I keep meaning to freaking bring that up, and I keep fucking forgetting. And for like a month, I keep forgetting to bring it up.
I had the same thought when they brought up Ferdinand again. I was like, I need to bring that up, and yeah, no, I completely forgot about it too.
Exactly. It's like this non-issue, but I'm like, no. When we're talking about predictions, like that's a cat, and he's insecure about it because he's like, how many guys did she bring over? And Ferdinand's not a guy; it's a cat.
So we're moving away from the theory that I think we've had since the beginning that Donut somehow knew something about what was about to happen and jumped out the window to survive it, and moving into she's looking for a hookup territory.
Oh fuck yeah! That's a kind of theory. That's a theory I would believe if she didn't speak. As she's been a speaking character for most of this, she has given nothing to say that she had any kind of inkling of anything. I think she was just getting a booty call at night. And Carl was walking around like, where are you? And then the world fucking ended.
So her booty call saved the world.
At least it saved Carl, probably. I am assuming eventually Carl wins the dungeon.
Or at least does something to escape it.
Yeah, or destroys Boran. Something, Something happens because a cat was like, I'm going to go see my boyfriend and you can't stop me. You're not my real dad.
All right. These are some... I love how fleshed out already this Ferdinand thing is. It's like it's a name we've heard a couple of times, and we've now created an entire backstory, and I love it. This is amazing.
We hear about Ferdinand pretty much every block that we read, but it's like always just like one little line, and it's always just this zab to the heart for Carl, because he's like, oh, who is that? And it's just like, you fucking dipshit, think about the cat.
Well, I think it's funny because he never goes back and asks her about it either. Like, it gets brought up in some random way. Can't stop and ask it. And then he never goes back and asks.
Yeah, he asked like once, maybe twice, and she changed the subject.
Yeah, she changes the subject or ignores him or something, yeah.
Yeah, but he could, yes, bring it up again. Every time she brings up, she clearly wants to talk about Ferdinand.
Yep.
It's funny because I think I've read this book several times now, and I think going through it this slowly with y'all is the first time I've realized how much Ferdinand has been mentioned, because I'm pretty sure the first time I read through this, it wasn't even on my radar. She throws out this name a couple of times and I just blew right past it and didn't even think about it at all. And so it's been interesting to see just how much that is in here.
Yeah, it's almost all the fucking time, which is why I'm like, I literally had to write a fucking note because I was like, bring up Ferdinand before the fucking book ends in case the cat shows up in the last chapter.
Like saves their asses. Like another
Yeah.
talking cat. He just comes in and saves their ass.
And then she's like, Ferdinand, and he's like, what? And then it goes to the end of the book. That you close the book. There's no credits.
He tosses his
It's
hair
not a
behind
TV
his
show.
shoulder.
He's got really long cat hair. Huh? Okay.
I
Like
think
an
it
old butter
has to
commercial.
be the aristocrats or the aristocats, where it has to be an alley cat. It has to be like the most tomcat that ever tomcat to offset her prissy prim.
Oh yeah, okay.
She needs an Aladdin.
She's out there looking for a bad boy.
She's looking for a street rat.
Oh man, I love this picture of
world.
another talking cat, just like swinging in on a rope to the rescue at the very end of the book.
Yep,
and,
like Puss in Boots.
Yeah,
totally.
That'd be amazing. Okay, well, I think that wraps us. We have 2 emails this week, but they both have 5-star reviews attached, so we need to assign achievements for those. And Mike is not here to randomly assign achievements, so we will hold on to those for next time.
Gotcha.
And we're
Were
for
they
next time.
fun?
They're fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't sound fun. The way you said that makes it not sound fun.
Well, I'm
Why
sorry.
would
I
make
was
it not sound fun?
I was trying to remember the details of the emails. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were fun. I don't. I read them when they came in a while ago. So
hell yeah! Look at us, entertaining to people.
When they first come in, for the most part, I'm just like going through. Are there any spoilers in here? Is there a review? Okay, that gives me the information I know about whether or not I can read this on the next episode. Okay, but yes, if you would like to send us an email, the address is dgmj@mail.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice, send us a screenshot of that, and Mike will award you, I should say, an achievement based on whatever it is running through his brain when achievement time comes, which is the best way to determine these that I've ever seen.
Yes.
So works out nicely. But you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook and places like that on the internet. If you'd like to see more stuff.
Tubes.
Remember, we're reading up through the epilogue, 45, 46, 47, and epilogue for next time. So if you're following along, those are the ones to read, as those are the ones we will be discussing. You can read other ones if you want, but we're not going to talk about those. But thank you all for listening. We appreciate you. And I will leave you with, we don't have Mordecai Wisdom of the Week. Once again, Mordecai did not make it into these chapters. And as far as we know, after we get to the next floor, he's gone. So I'm going to have to come up with some new sign-off. But, or wait, does he stay through the first 3 floors or the first 2? I don't remember for sure now.
Gets the first 3, but don't hold me to that.
So he could be around a little bit.
I thought it was the first 3 too, but
okay. But he's not here this week. That's the thing. Glurp and all that. That was, I will say, that was another option that I had when I was trying to come up with a name for the podcast, was Death Watch Extreme or whatever the stupid name of that show is. But I don't want to be associated with the Maestro. So
smart.
That did not go with that. And then I think
either. I'm very glad you did not.
I think since we started this show, there's been another show that came out that did use that title. So
hell yeah.
Is it all boys?
I don't know. I haven't actually listened. I just feel like I saw that pop up on Reddit or something. So, but anyway, if that exists, you could check that out if you want. But we will be back. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the end of Dungeon Crawler Carl, book 1 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Good luck out there, Carl.